federal government says it has concluded plans to host a national conference on the integration of artisanal and modular petroleum refinery operations to increase refining capacity and cause a drop in the price of petroleum products. And this is according to Senator Ita Enang, who is a senior special assistant to President Buhari on Niger Delta Affairs. According to Senator Enang, who is now joining us from Arise Abuja studio, the aim of the conference is to integrate local refining capacity into the refining of petroleum products such as petrol, kerosene, diesel, and other petrochemical products. Can this be done without any risk of negative political intervention? Welcome to the program, sir. Good morning.
Thank you very much, and thank you.
Senator, good morning. Good to have you again on the program. A conference.
Good morning.
A conference on modular refinery. Are the issues not obvious enough? Must we hold talks again over, how we can get the modular refineries to work? But what is the objective of this conference that the federal government is proposing, and what are your expectations in terms of outcome?
Thank you very much, Dr. Abati, and I welcome myself again. The issues are obvious enough. Now it is resource, capacity, and potentials mobilization. Now, I have been on this program talking about the artisanal refineries, what you call the illegal refineries operators operating in the Niger Delta. And we've seen that they have capacity to help in refining and supplying to the nation, but illegally. They take these products illegally, they don't pay for it. In the course of it, the environment is damaged, and we need money to come and clean the environment again. Now, they break our pipelines, and the oil companies need to, and NNPC need to come and restore the pipelines again. All that add to cost of production of crude. And that is why it does appear that it is in Nigeria that the cost of production of oil is highest in the whole world because of the elements involved. So what the conference is doing is mobilizing the Ministry of, conference is hosted by the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, that is the National Planning Ministry, led by Clem Agba, the Honourable Minister, and my office. Now, the idea is to make it a national policy and program to integrate local and modular refineries into refining operations in Nigeria. The conference is expected to hold on Tuesday and Wednesday next week in Abuja. And the Honourable Minister of National Planning will address the conference. The Minister of Environment will address the conference on the import of it on the environment. The Minister of Petroleum Resources will also address the conference. The Honourable Minister of Science and Technology is also expected to address the conference. As of today, we have in Zaria a modular refineries that is operating at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. And all that was constructed locally in Nigeria. It is completely Nigerian built and sponsored by Petroleum Technology Development Fund, PTDF, and constructed by NASENI, that is National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure in Nigeria under the presidency. Now, we have the Federal University of Petroleum Resources, EFORUM, which has developed modular refineries which is also producing. We have the Petroleum Institute in Warri. Now, what the essence is that in the whole of this, each of them is operating in cells. There has not been such a coordination to bring in all their potentials. And then you have funds domiciled in several different agencies, which have not been able to be pulled together because each of the agencies operate severally. That is on its own. It operates in cell. It operates as an independent person. It operates as a country. While NNPC is announcing as much as it is losing in refining every year, from 2017 in the refineries from 2017, 2018, 2020, 2020. They have been announcing losses consistently. Then each of these other agencies, which is supposed to have come together to bring their resources together to help, have not come together. So the conference is bringing together NASENI, National Agency for the Science and Engineering Infrastructure, the potential that is available in Ahmadu Bello University refining, the potential that is available and what the Petroleum Technology Development Fund is doing.
Thank you, Senator Enang. I'm afraid we have to go on a short break now. Sorry for that interruption, but we'll be back to finish the conversation. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the Morning Show. We're still with Senator Ita Enang, Senior Special Assistant to President Muhammadu Buhari on Niger Delta Affairs. Now, my question relates to the timing of this conference, which is to be held next week, 16th and 17th of March, whereas the National Assembly has promised to pass the PIB next month in April. How then will the deliberations of the conference feed into the PIB? Is the timing not too short? And is it going to cause any kind of a delay with this long-awaited passage?
Definitely, it is not going to cause. Why we have even shortened the process and the timing to bring up the conference is to ensure that the recommendations are made available to the federal government, to the system, and again made available to the legislature. Now, there are a few of the processes or the processes which are dependent, which will be dependent on the amendment of the law. And the best time to do it is now that the law is being worked on at the National Assembly, namely the Petroleum Industry Bill. We have invited His Excellency the President of the Senate, and we believe that the chairman of the Petroleum Upstream of the Senate and the House, or the chairman of the PIB committees in both the House and the Senate, will attend and listen to us. They could also make a presentation, and they will also listen to the presentations. But at the end of it, what we recommend, which will need amendments to the law, would be passed on to the National Assembly to consider, and if they think fit, they incorporate into the law. Now, there is the artisanal mining processes in the country, and it has been fully adopted by the federal government and sanctioned, and they are discussing with through the Ministry of Solid Minerals. Now, there is the artisanal refiners at the creeks, which those that bust our pipelines, I apologize to them. Those that take our oil, I apologize to them. They say they don't steal, they only take. I apologize to them. But now, we have brought them. They're going to be at the conference. One, they have given a commitment to the federal government that they are granting amnesty to the federal government, that they will not, if they're integrated into the process, go into the illegal process again. One. Two, they are coming to also show us the machines and the processes in which they refine the oil, and why they can't do much of petrol and kerosene, why they only do mostly diesel and minimally petrol and kerosene, and throw away others. It is what they call the catalytic cracking process. And we understand that the catalytic cracking instruments in the modular refinery in Warri, in Eforum, and the one that is operating in Ahmadu Bello University, was installed by the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure at the funding of Petroleum Technology Development Fund. Why can't we popularize, multiply, and make it available to them so that they can produce in large quantity? Today, we wake up to the fact that petroleum price is likely to be increased, or is now perhaps measured at 212 naira, 212.6 per liter. And when you look at the template that is released by the Petroleum Product Pricing and Regulatory Agency, it is all the elements of import, export, administration, and the port charges that make up the high rate of the high price. And now subsidy is also being rumored. So by the time we are able to make this product refined in Nigeria, all those elements will be removed, you know, and we will one create employment for these people. 2, reduce the price of petroleum products. 3, serve our foreign exchange, which is being used in the import. Now, part of why our naira is being challenged, getting down daily, is the amount of money that we are using in importing, and now the exchange rate. And some of them that can't get the exchange rate at official rate, they get at the other market and then still bring in the product, and then they will have to recover their costs. Okay. So constantly and continually, the price keeps going up. And by the end of this conference, all the stakeholders who are going to be there will be able to make recommendations. We also know how much we are spending on the military, the Navy, the Army, and sometimes you have the police helicopter, you have the Air Force helicopter.
I just want to come in here.
The Niger Delta. So all this will be eliminated.
Senator, great insight you've made. I mean, laudable one you've talked about. But a lot of people will argue with you that is it not time to focus on even those institutions? You talked about the Federal University of Petroleum in Ogromo, Delta State. And you talked about Petroleum Training Institute in Efron, Warri. PTI used to be the Harvard of the petroleum industry in the 80s. But today, it's not the same with PTI. It's in a decrepit state. Most of the people that worked in the rig in that Delta area were churned out from PTI. Most of the deep sea welders and all of those people. But you can't say the same today again about PTI. You can't even say the same about Ogromo. We're talking about modular refineries. We ought to have passed that level because it's no big deal. A pet engineer can draw the columns of a modular refinery and the structure and things like that and put a catalyst on it, even through his computer here, and say, okay, factory churn out for me in China, and they bring it back. A lot of Nigerians are doing it. But isn't it time for us to develop PTI to a stage that PTI can do the full column, the full chamber of a refinery that churn out a sizable thousand of barrel, you know, in this country? Because when you look at those two institutions, apart from University of Ibadan, that was the first to offer petroleum engineering in a long time, we don't have another institution pushing the envelope as regards this. So when are we going to spend in research as regards the petroleum sector in this country? When are we going to revamp PTI and Federal University in Ogromo?
Thank you very much. The question is not the ability of these universities. It is the ability or the willingness of government institutions to use the potentials of this research. Now, we know that EFURUM was just an institute, but it has been elevated to a university, and it's University of Petroleum Resources. When we've approached the university, the chancellor, the pro-chancellor of the university and the vice-chancellor, they assigned to us the man that is actually handling and has constructed the refinery, which is almost full for commissioning now, Dr. Otonacha. He's going to be there. So it is not the absence of research. It is the willingness of bringing this research on the table. Let me commend Petroleum Technology Development Fund, because they showed an example that we can develop all this locally, and it was developed and it is in Ahmadu Bello University. Professor Dabo, who is managing that refinery and involved in the entire process, is coming to make a presentation from Ahmadu Bello University, that is the people managing the refinery. And Naseni is willing and able to get this done and replicate it all over. It is policy change, policy consistency, and the willingness of the people to come on board. Now, we've also tried and endeavored to mobilize the defense institutions, because we've said to the defense institutions, if Nigeria were to face a war today, and part of the war tactics is a blockade of oil imports to Nigeria, will the Nigerian Army, Navy, and Air Force not develop some local technology as it does in building bridges to refine petroleum products to sustain the country so that they can have all this to prosecute the war, and all that. They can. So all these assets will be mobilized at the conference, and that is why it is 2 days conference. We invite Arise TV. Thank you very much.
Okay. You can be sure we'll be there if you invite us. Thank you very much for joining us.